क्या आप आईएएस की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप आईएएस की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।
Very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. I'm sure you all have enjoyed your Raksha Bandhan. Today is Monday, new day, new dollar. Let's start our day with a positive quote by Leonardo da Vinci. He says that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Now, I'll leave it on you guys to analyze this statement. What do you make of this statement? If you have analyzed it, if you have understood it, then please make sure that you pass your understanding in the comment section of this video. With this, the first item that we have is called Council Conundrum. Now, at present, the state of Odisha is, looking for an upper house. Now, what it is all about? Recently, Odisha has expressed this thing, and it wants to join this 7 states that we have in our country. Don't confuse these 7 states with 7 sisters. I'm not talking about northeastern states. We have 7 states in our country, starting from this Jammu and Kashmir. Then you have Uttar Pradesh. Yes, of course. Bihar is the 3rd one. Coming down a little bit, we find Maharashtra, 4th one. Then we have Telangana, and of course Andhra Pradesh, and the last one is Karnataka. These are 7 states of our country. They have this bicameral system, right? Legislative system. So they have both upper house as well as a lower house. So they have this legislative assembly where you find member of legislative assembly, that is MLA. And then you have legislative council where you find member of legislative council. It's something similar to, if you want to understand, you can compare it with our parliament, right? We have Rajya Sabha, that is upper house, right? UH, that is upper house. Then you have Lok Sabha, that is your lower house. And you know that, of course, president again is part of this whole game. So 3 pillars of our parliament. One is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and president. In 22 states, we have legislative assembly and governor. But in 7 states, we have these 3 pillars. So now Odisha wants to join this league, and we have to go through it. We have to find out what are these advantages as well as disadvantages of having these 2 houses in a particular state. Now, for achieving its endeavor, this state of Odisha, they conducted a committee back in 2015. This committee has gone through the 2nd chamber of different states, and they have passed their recommendations. These members or this particular committee has passed its recommendation to the state government. Recently, state cabinet, that is the core of the government, the heart and soul of government, that is cabinet, has approved a 49-member legislative council. But the thing is, it's not that if cabinet has approved it and if your committee is recommending it, that does not mean that you will get it tomorrow. Not at all. You have to go through a very lengthy process, and of course a very difficult one as well. The first thing is that you have to pass a resolution for the creation of council by majority of its total membership. That means, say for example, if a particular state is having 100 MLAs, right, or the total strength is 100, then you need at least 51 votes, right, to pass this resolution. Once you pass this resolution, now of course you can understand that the majority of the total membership, so it will become a bit difficult because it's not that you have, if you have 100 MLAs in your house, then that does not mean that a party will have 51 or 60 or 65 or 70. It's not always like that. Parties will have 40, you will have 43, and then you collide with someone, in a coalition, and then you go ahead with it. So you partner with. So that particular party will be with it or not with it. It all depends. So itself, you can imagine that it's a very bit of challenging thing. The second thing is that once you pass this resolution, then you have to send it to Parliament. Now, Parliament will have to enact a law. And remember, it is the Parliament that will decide. Finally, ultimatum will come from Parliament whether you will have or will not have this upper house. So if we analyze things in recent past, when I say recent past, I'm talking about 5-6 years, right? 2013 to be precise. Back in 2013, two states of our country, one is Rajasthan and the second one is Assam. These two states applied for, they have passed this resolution and they have applied for, creating this upper house in their respective states. And this request is pending in Parliament since 2013. So you can imagine that it's not going to be that easy for Odisha. And this also indicates that Parliamentary Committee has as well, very reluctantly, Parliamentary Committee has said okay with this upper house creation, but it has provided a bit of list as well of things that we need to be careful about. The second thing is that this request of Odisha, Rajasthan and Assam is pending since 2013. It also indicates that Parliament is not going to give you this permission that easily. Now let's go through advantages and disadvantages of this upper house or this bicameral system that we have in our state. The positive point is that it will work as a forum for, or it does work as a forum for academicians and intellectuals. All those people who are not proficient with elections, right? They are good. They know what to do. They can contribute, their expertise in this law creation and other things, but they don't know how to field themselves. They don't know how to win an election and things like that. So this is one of the main reasons why this thing has been said, in this Odisha cabinet's decision. It has decided that it is going to keep there's separate seats for graduates and intellectuals so that they can contribute. Now the second thing is it is expected that upper house will be more sober, and it will go through all these bills in a much more in-depth fashion, and this is something that is expected, but in reality it is just on paper. In practical life, it is more about it is a forum of politicians, right, who are not able to make it via election, but they have done or contributed for that particular party. So it's a sort of saying thank you to politicians, that thank you for your service to our party, but now we cannot, because you are not able to become an MLA, then we will give you a seat in MLC, that is Member of Legislative Council, and you will get all these privileges and other things. So this is of course not written anywhere, but this is how it works. The second thing is it will be a big drain on the exchequer. Now we have legislative assembly, right, and as you can see here, 22 states of our country out of 29, they have this single house, and they are doing very well. We don't find any problem with it at all. And it is also going to second house means more expenses, more drain on this exchequer's money. And the third disadvantage is, who said that graduates are rare breed? It's not nothing like that. Of course, we reserve few seats, that's fair enough, but if we are thinking that we need more graduates and more people from educational or academic background, that does not mean that they are the ones who know everything. There are people out there, politicians out there, and to be honest, I'm being very you can say to the point here, that you will find there are so many politicians in our political world of our country. They are not that much educated. They don't have Harvards and Oxfords and other university degrees, but they have this outstanding understanding of crowd. They have this outstanding understanding of people, how to deal with them and all these things. And this is something many a times we find people are born with this sort of leadership skill, and the other side is that you can train yourself as well for this thing. You too can become a leader. I'm just saying. So this is this is everything about this advantages and disadvantages. Now let me add a couple of things with this bicameral upper house lower house system that we have. Rajya Sabha's case is different. We cannot compare Rajya Sabha with this legislative council, because Rajya Sabha is predominantly representing the states rather than electoral constituencies. Electoral constituencies are represented by Lok Sabha, but Rajya Sabha is representing our various different states. The other thing is, it also works as a restraining force. I have a question for you, and the question is, let's go through the question first. The question is that, can you give me the name of the first vice president of our country? This is a small GK question for you. I'm sure you all will actively participate in answering this question. So, the first vice president of our country, and I'm sure you are aware about this thing, that any person who becomes vice president automatically becomes chairman of Rajya Sabha. So our first vice president said this thing, that this house is very important house. Rajya Sabha is very important, or upper house is very important, because if you see this average age of people or MPs in Rajya Sabha, you will find that they are a bit more mature compared to average age of Lok Sabha MPs. This indicates that they have a bit of more experience about life, about politics, generally speaking, it is believed. And because of this thing, they will work as a restraining force if this elected majorities in legislative matters, if a particular party is trying to dominate, or if a particular party is or a government is passing laws that are in haste or quickly, if they are passing some laws, then this Rajya Sabha will work as a sort of as it will work like a brake or a speed breaker. It's not there to create hurdles, but it is there to facilitate a bit more in-depth analysis, so that the law that is coming out is more refined, it is a discussed law, and it is better for the whole nation. But again, as far as practical world is concerned, this is what we expect from upper house and lower house, but particularly Rajya Sabha or upper house. But if we go through a few figures of recent past, then we find it is a bit disappointing that it's politics that is running the whole show. That's everything with this, dear friends. If you want to download the PDF of today's lecture, you will get it from my Facebook page and Twitter handle. And the second item that we have is Powell Doctrine. Now, Powell, if you are confused who Powell is or what Powell is all about, Powell is the name or surname of Jerome Powell is chairman of Federal Reserve or US Federal Reserve. If you don't know what US Federal Reserve is, then Federal Reserve is equivalent or counterpart of RBI. So you can also say that, right, it is Fed Reserve is RBI of USA. I hope things are clear to you now as far as this Fed Reserve is concerned. Now, this Jerome Powell has strongly defended this current gradual approach to raising interest rates. This approach or the method of increasing interest rates gradually. There are two ways of doing it. Either you do it gradually, that means step by step you will increase interest rate, and the other one is a sort of more rapid one, so of course USA is following this one, and practically speaking that's what we will find with other countries as well now, or other economies as well. Now the thing is, Mr. Trump is a bit happy. He is not happy with this, he's a bit upset with this rise in interest rates, and this will happen with any government. No government would like to see interest rate going up, because there are a few reasons behind it. Let me give you a small example. Just imagine that here you have RBI right in the center. So you have government will expect that interest rate, that means loans, right? When I say interest rate, take it as I'm talking about loans here, right? So our government would like to see loan rate coming down, because if the loan rate is down, more people will borrow money. If more people borrow money, then they will invest this money in economy. If they invest this money then in economy, then it will create more jobs. If jobs are created, then people will be happy, they will be busy, they will be spending, and directly, indirectly, they will feel that it is the government who is doing everything. And to be honest, indirectly speaking, it is right as well. So this is just a small example, right? So government will love to see interest rate going down. If you are a depositor, depositor. That means you have parked your money in SBI or any other bank. So when loan rates go down, deposit rates go down as well. So you will be upset with this thing. Earlier on, you used to get what 10,000 rupees as interest per month, say for example, the money that you have invested or deposited in the bank. But from next month, if the interest rate is down, then you will get somewhere around, say for example, 8,000 rupees. So it will be a loss of what, 2,000 rupees for you per month. So if you calculate, go for 12 months, then you will find that you are losing nearly 24,000 rupees. So you will not be happy with this thing. So depositors, they would love to see interest rate going up because they will get more interest. Loan takers, government, they would like to see rates going down for obvious reasons. So this is the reason why Mr. Trump is not happy with this decision of this Federal Reserve, that interest rates will go up, but in a more gradual manner. Now, as far as this risk factors are concerned, he has said that there are a few imprecise nature of economic variables. Variables are those things that can go up and that can go down. Like say for example, your electricity bill per month can go up or down depending on how much you are using, but your house rent will stay as it is for a bit of time, isn't it? So that's your fixed thing, and your electricity bill is your variable. So employment and inflation are variables. They can go up, they can go down, and it's not just what you are doing. It also depends on what's going on in different parts of the world. Like say for example, India, right? We import oil. 80% of items are coming from abroad. So if a second or third biggest supplier of oil, say for example Iran, is going through tough time, political time, because of the sanctions applied by USA, then supply will come down. USA will pressurize us to cut down on what we are buying from Iran, and because of this thing we have to buy it from somewhere else, and they will increase their rate and things like that. So because of this demand and supply mismatch, or because of this political scenario going on between two countries of the world, it will have direct impact on our economy. Same thing happens with USA as well. So when North Korea is threatening, or when you find news like Korea is still it has not stopped its nuclear plants and things like that, then this will impact their share market as well, USA particularly, because they are in direct conflict with this country called North Korea. So this is something that I thought I should explain it to you guys. And the reason why interest rates are going up is because, see, economy is doing very well at present, right? The pace or speed of growth is reasonably all right. Then you have inflation is under check, and then you have unemployment as well is at 20-year low, which is a good thing for USA. So so far so good. Things are, when growth is good, when inflation is under control, and when you have this employment, employment or unemployment rate when it is down, then the thing is that people will have more money. And when people will have more money, and if you keep a flow of money easy, if you add more money or make loans cheap, then more money will be there in the market, and this will create problems for the economy. It will kick inflation, and then things will go out of your control. But gradual upgrade is something that is not bad. And that's everything. I hope things are clear to you now. Now moving on to our third and important item. Of course, it is about Article 35A. I'm sure, dear friends, we have talked about this Article 35A, so I'm going to be as brief as possible on this first page that you can see on your screen. But yes, on the second page, we have many things to learn. So this Article 35A is inserted in the Constitution by a presidential order back in 1954. At present, a case is been filed in Supreme Court. Supreme Court is going to decide whether this case should be referred to a bigger bench, or this case is not acceptable, or it is something that it should reject. So it depends. We have to wait and watch. Supreme Court has reserved its order. I think, if I'm not wrong, within a week or something, we are going to see the future of this Article 35A. Now, This 35A is a bit special because it gives this permanent residential status to people of Jammu and Kashmir. And there are people out there in our country, they are arguing that this is a pure violation, because if you are not from Jammu and Kashmir, then you cannot purchase property, immovable property in J&K. You cannot, apply for scholarships. You are not able to take part in their public service commission or other exams. So this is the thing, right, with Article 35A, and on surface level it looks like, yes, it is a bit of discrimination, because India is one country, we can go anywhere we like, right, as far as we are not creating troubles for other people, then I can purchase my flat or property anywhere I like. Why I am being stopped? But the thing is, if we go through our constitution and if we go through our whole system, then you will find that our federalism is not symmetric, it is asymmetric. That means you find a bit of ups and downs here and there. A few states are been bestowed with extra powers, and few states are having no powers. When I say no powers, I mean to say that most of the states, they have standard powers, right? Then you have few special cases where few small pockets, right? Even if you pass a law from your parliament, you cannot apply it in a few pockets of northeastern states. It is because of this tribal way of their life, and you cannot amend laws that are being followed by them, and there is a proper process as well. So when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir, we have to go through this article of this accession, right? This was signed back in late 40s, and it clearly states that the parliament has power to legislate on only three things as far as this state is concerned. The first one is defense, second is foreign affairs, and the third one is of course communication. So these are the only three things that can be changed by the parliament. Apart from that, Louis Tillin says that because of this asymmetric federalism that we have, right, some states enjoy greater autonomy over governance than others, and it was talked and debated for a bit of long time, and then finally we came to this conclusion that we need to have this Article 370 in the Constitution. The other thing is, if you want to say, for example, make any necessary changes, and this is very important for you to understand, that if you want to change something in Jammu and Kashmir, then you will require, you can do it with the presidential order, but for that you have to have this first presidential order, and but this presidential order can be issued when you get a green signal from the state government. Only after that you will be able to say or do anything about it. The second thing is, or something about it. The second thing is, if you want to make a sort of major change, then it's Jammu and Kashmir's state constituent assembly will have to pass, it has to be passed through, or it has to go through this state constituent assembly, and only after that you can take it in the parliament, and then you can make some necessary changes. So I hope things are clear to you, that it's not that easy, and it is clearly stated in this instrument of accession that without state government as well as state's permission, right, you cannot make major changes with the way things are going on between, or not only going on, but the way things are designed between this particular state of our country and the central government. So now we have to wait and watch, and if I give you a couple of examples of past cases, then in the past as well, Supreme Court has on two different occasions it has clearly stated that there is nothing wrong with this 370. So let's wait and watch. We don't know exactly, but as far as I know, I think Supreme Court will take, it will go with its earlier stand. Now moving on to fourth item. Yes, not that important, but I'll quickly take you through it, because Hindi students, they find it a bit difficult to read them and understand or comprehend these articles. So I took this thing on board, but with you guys, I'm sure that's not a problem at all. So here this article is talking about this, latest talk of the town or talk of this politician is about figures. UPA people are saying that in our era or during our reign we used to have good economic growth, and during NDA it's not that good. NDA is saying something, but our main focus is here. It's not about these numbers, because these numbers are not that important at present for us, and most important thing that we need to ask is a methodology of the study. What exactly methods, right, were followed, researchers, and this sort of things are more important, because I can say anything I like, right? I can say that our growth is 10.5%, but then I have to prove it as well. I have to prove it statistically, then it will be accepted. So here, when you are using old data, and this article is talking about a few lags that this methodology is having. So because of this thing, we cannot rely on this thing. And one thing is also there, that this data debate should be under the domain of experts and not a politician or political thing for politicians to indulge on. They should rather focus on important things. And here you have until dams do us part. This one is very important. See here, you can see a tragedy in Kerala has again asked us many questions. It has placed many questions in front of us. Excess water accumulation is not healthy in the it is dangerous, in fact, right? It is catastrophic. And if we go through this number of large dams, I'm not talking about small dams, I'm talking about large dams. Since 1947 we have displaced some 4.4 million 44 lakh people, and this is the single largest cause for displacement post partition. Then dams have displaced the poorest of India, and most of the time what happens is that these poor people are being chucked away, and this land is allotted to rich people for their agriculture, for their factories and other things. And even today we are using, our water usage is not sustainable. For out of 100 liter of water, right, 85 will go to these farms or this agriculture, which is, if we are doing this way, then it is going to be suicidal for, it is in fact suicidal for us, but we are going to die in future if we run on this path. And then we have this reservoir induced seismicity. That means the weight of this reservoir has resulted in earthquakes in various parts of the country. Of 75 cases of RIS were reported worldwide, and 17 have been reported from our country as well. With this we reach this important news item. Kerala prepares memo for seeking more central fund. IMF report on India 2018 has been said by Mr. Jaitley is bit good. Inflation is under control. Fiscal deficit controlled. This current account deficit check. Infrastructure check. Power sector check. Allocation of natural resources check. So far everything is all right. Paswan has supported this idea of all India judicial service, something like IAS, IPS and Indian Forest Services. Debate is going on whether we need all India services or not, and Paswan has supported it because he wants to see people from Dalit and other communities, they are being given a chance to be a sort of judicial officer. And North Korea accuses the US of hatching a criminal plot. Here you can see, yesterday we were talking about this strategic partnership. So I have one more thing that you can add here. Strategic partnership also means that this Indian private sector will also participate in defense manufacturing. This is a big thing, and you have this article here. It is about this WhatsApp. Said that if you are storing your data on Google Drive, then it is not encrypted. Right? If you are expecting the same sort of encryption, then you are not going to get it if it is on Google Drive. And here you can see that India has already built 44,000 houses in North Sri Lanka, and now China is ready to invest here in Sri Lanka. So let's. This USA and Japan, they are a bit worried as well. We are a bit worried as well. These are your vocabularies. And yesterday I asked you a question. So Paracel, you have Spartley and Scarborough. And today's map-based question is this one. Can you give me the name of this region here? And with this, that's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. Don't forget to check out StudyIQ.com for our Raksha Bandhan sale. Last day today. Make the most out of it. Enjoy your studies. God bless you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Hind.